petrol that has always taken the most attention. It is the price of petrol that has always determined where the pendulum should swing to as far as economic situation is concerned. And that is why you see over the years the economy has not improved. This is owing to the fact that the government have been coerced into taking loans as well as other windows of getting, a lot of grants to ensure that they move the economy. But again, also the hairy hand of corruption has always been there to siphon nearly everything. Look at the petroleum industry bill that was passed sometimes, I think, in 2017 or thereabout. Yet, with all that bill, you can see that nothing has improved up till now. And um, uh, the government itself, especially the preceding government before this one, had borrowed money, even using as collateral the crude oil that has not been tapped. And that
the
is
future
why
of Nigeria.
the future of Nigeria was simply mortgaged by the previous administration.
But I thought they said they have wonderful economic policies. As such, Nigeria has to dance to the tune of the international community.
Those are government statements aimed at cushioning the tension that is erupting as a result of that borrowing spree. You will recall that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari was borrowing from every nook and cranny where it could lay its hands on, simply to maintain the subsidy as well as to pay salaries and some other needs of the citizens as well as running the government. And that was why even the crude oil that has not been extracted has already been sold. You know, at a point in time, Nigeria was producing 2.4 million barrels per day, which was even below the benchmark set then in 2018 by the OPEC, which was 2.9 million barrels per day. And then when OPEC reduced the quota to about 2.5, Nigeria was producing about 1.8 million barrels. And so suddenly the production also crashed sometimes in 2021 when the country began to produce well below 1 million barrels per day. And that continued up to the time, sometimes in 2023, shortly before the elections. So you can see that because of the crash in the quota and the inability of the country to meet its production quota, there was a kind of low income that is coming from the petroleum industry. And the country was looking to every nook and cranny, from tax, that is those that are being generated by the Federal Inland Revenue Services and some other revenue generating agencies to augment. And it also borrowed to equally augment. So you can see that the crude oil that has not been extracted has already been sold upward of about 2-3 years. And then when this administration came, it tried to look inwardly to see whether it can survive with the kind of situation it met. And when the president realized that he could not survive, that was why right there at the swearing-in ceremony ground, he declared that subsidy has been removed. Because he knew that the money to pay for the subsidy is not there. And when I said the country was broke at the time, a lot of people took me to this word, thinking that Nigeria is a buoyant nation. I agree it is a buoyant nation, but whatever that is coming out of the country has already been mortgaged. So you can see that the future of the country has been mortgaged, and that is why you see this government is groping in the dark, trying to find a way out of the current situation. You can see when it came, it also went into a borrowing spree, about $3 billion, and it is expected to pay about $12.5 billion for that $3 billion. These are very strict conditions that were led to the government, but the money lenders, having realized that the government have no option than to borrow that money, they put on that draconian interest on the loan, and the government decided to take it because that is the only option left for it to survive. And you can see part of that money was what was used for palliatives that was never, that was not there, or rather that was never shared. And even part of it was also used to purchase vehicles for the members of the National Assembly at about 160 million naira per vehicle. And so many other urgent needs were taken care of using that loan. And it formed part of the supplementary budget that was passed, I think, sometimes in October or November or thereabout. And this is where we are today in this country. The country had largely depended on foreign exchange too, and the foreign exchange pitted the naira against the dollar. And the Bureau de Change people were equally making their own heydays during that period. A lot of people will go to the central bank, get the dollar at cheap rate, and then come into the black market and sell at a more exorbitant rate. And you can see that when the government decided to declare that the naira has been devalued, you see how the Bureau de Change people were folding up. This is owing to the fact that they cannot afford to buy dollars at those rates and still sell to make gains. So many of them chose to simply close shop. But you know, if the BDC people were sincere to themselves, they should have been making more sincere businesses in terms of exchange. But they were the ones largely that caused this current situation that we are in today, including the skyrocketing prices of food items that you see in the markets, including those food items that are being produced locally, have to soar up because the chain of effect is what is affecting even local food items in our local markets today. So you can see that here we are not even knowing which direction to take, even though the CBN is saying it is making concerted effort to ensure that it stabilizes the naira against the dollar, but already the damage has been done. Dollar is now coming to about 1,800, between 1,400 and 1,800 naira per dollar. So the damage has already been done. We just hope that the government will come out of this shock and try to come up with more strategies that will help to stabilize the naira and then reduce less dependence on our naira. As you can see, some institutions already, some private institutions are already talking about accepting the dollar as a tender rather than the naira that we are used to knowing.
It has always been there.
It has always been there
in Nigeria.
But
that you find out that some private institutions, be it government, private, be it schools or hospitals, and even some companies, they are accepting dollar in Nigeria.
Yes, but it is illegal because naira remains the only legal tender as far as transactions are concerned. If an agency, be it private, is coming out to say that it can only accept the dollar as a tender, then that is going.
How can you forget in a hurry? Even during the delegates, the selection of the presidential candidates.
Now the selection of the presidential candidate is not a transaction. I am talking about transactions where
but it even
you buy.
happened there while the government was even looking at it.
No, that is a legal exchange because I am giving you this for a services you have rendered to me. It is not a transaction, but I am talking about legal tender this time around. How much do you sell this? Instead of you saying 1 naira, you say $1. No. In terms of legal transactions, in buying and selling, you don't use the dollar as a tender in Nigeria because naira will remain the only tender. And it is illegal for anybody to use the dollar as a tender in buying and selling. Because if you are buying and selling a commodity, it is the naira, but not the dollar. But you know, the government continue to look elsewhere while some of these illegalities are coming in. But above all, I think all of these are coming from the fact that many of us are not actually ready to work for the country again. So many people have made up their mind to simply work for themselves rather than for the country. And those who are in a position of authority have also become nepotic and selfish in most of their dealings and decisions that they have taken. And that is why you can see that the whole thing is affecting everybody now. And most of the times, I have always hold the elites as culpable for this most of the situation we are in today, because the elites have not given the requisite atmosphere for people to ask the right questions. People have been fed false information, and because people react according to the false information that they are being fed, northern elites especially have not been able to bring to the platform of discourse genuine matters concerning the region. And when you look at Nigeria generally as a whole, I also look at the elites as culpable for most of these situations. Different narratives for the same situation, and that has become more confusing. A lot of the elites have not been able to tell us the real story about the country. And the genuine questions concerning our situations have not been brought to the platform of public discourse. And that is why we still remain where we are today. People are not asking the right questions. The elites especially are not asking the right questions, are not struggling for the right things. Many people are simply struggling for themselves, for their brethren, for their regions, for their state, and so on and so forth. There is the need for us to discuss national matters so that people can adequately be informed, and when they are informed, they can equally take informed decisions. And this is what other senior clients have done by enlightening the citizens, by ensuring that the requisite questions were asked and appropriate answers were given, not different answers to the same narrative, or not different answers to the same situation. This is the kind of country we find ourselves today, and that is why it is going to be very difficult to solve our own situation. You can see as the government is going now, look at the entire cabinet today. What you see is simply appointments based on loyalty, not on competence. And when you have an appointment in such kind of situation, of course, this is the kind of things you see in the country. Look at the entire cabinet. What you see is simply loyalty. Those who are loyal, those who were foot soldiers during campaigns, and so on and so forth, rather than those who are competent. And in a country where competence is thrown to the dustbin and loyalty is being rewarded, then where do we go from there? We remain where we are, and we continue to circumambulate, and then we get blown backward into the future. We think we are moving into the future, but we are moving backward. This is the situation of Nigeria today. Things are worsening. Things are not getting better.
But how can Nigerians really adapt to the current unfortunate situation of the valuation of Naira, which is affecting us negatively?
Well, we have think tanks in this country. I cannot remember the last time I have seen somebody from the academics analyzing our economic situation the way it is today. I cannot remember the last time I have heard an expert in the economic field analyzing our own situation and providing solution to it. Even the academia is quiet about our own situation, and this is owing to the fact that the academia at the moment has been so suppressed, and the academicians within the academia are already out of their minds because of so many misdemeanors that the government have subjected them to. People within the academics are no longer thinking as academics again, because they are grappling with what to put on the table for their family. They are grappling to meet up with daily requirements of their needs. Essential social needs are not there for the academics, and nobody is thinking like an academician today again. Even academicians have become so ordinary in their thoughts because the room for intelligent thinking is no longer there again. What they have as take-home pay is not enough. And what do they have to go into research for? And that is why you see everybody is simply quiet. Academicians are quiet, experts are quiet, nobody appears to be ready to say anything as far as our situation is concerned. And the government also is appearing to be more clueless on how to pull the country out of its current situation. So this is the situation we have found ourselves today in this country. The elites are not asking the right questions. narratives are not going in the same direction, different narratives for the same situation, and so many other things.
Okay. 090388088883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Well, you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina, and we're streaming live on our Facebook page, prestigefmradio.org.ng, and on radio app, prestigefmradio.org.ng. Hello, good morning. Okay, 090388088883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Who do you have on the line?
I am you. I'm calling. My name is Ismail.
All right, Ismail, calling from?
I'm calling from Mina.
All right, so make your comments.
I just calling to greet you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We have this comment on our Facebook page coming from Ibrahim Saleh saying, on devaluation of currency in the nation, most of the third world nations are subjected to this mess. And until we open and shine our eyes by so-called leaders, we will not get it right. In our country here in Nigeria, diversifying our economy will give a bit rise in the nation development and reduce the naira fall. If and only if corruption will have this way out of this country, will remain in the currency devaluation till then kingdom come. I still submit. Thank you very much, Ibrahim Saleh, for that comment. And we have another caller on the line. Who do we have on the line? Hello, good morning. Okay, we missed that call. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay. 090388088883 is the number to call in. Yes, I am Asali. What devaluation of Naira? Okay, let me take. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Who do I have on the line?
This is Dr. Igo.
Dr. Igyogo, make your comment.
Yes, Dr. Bantola just threw a challenge about the academic being silent over the issue of devaluation of currency. You see, devaluation of currency is a deliberate reducing the value of the currency of a nation. And the intention is to boost exports and discourage imports, and as well as reduce sovereign debt value. You see, a country like Nigeria that is solely dependent on importation will initially find it very difficult. People will suffer, prices will rise because almost everything we use in this country is imported. And the government is trying to take a deliberate action now to make people begin to look inwards, such that we can start producing most of these things that we import. Majority of the things we import, we can produce and export them. But the fact that we solely rely, we are relaxed, that does not boost our GDP. The only way you can boost your GDP and be able to reduce importation is to devalue your currency such that import becomes more expensive than export. Yes, Nigerians are really suffering as a result of the floating of the dollar. Floating of the dollar means allowing the forces of demand and supply to determine the value of the dollar. And it is really done at a very wrong time, because initially the government is supposed to do what? To ensure that industries, especially or manufacturing industries, are given that leverage to be able to buy machinery that can come in here and set up industries that we can start producing the things that we need.
All right.
By the time we have most of these machines or manufacturing plants in place, they can go ahead to devalue the currency. By then, we have all these things in place. We can start manufacturing all these things we need. But as it is now, there is no attempt to bring in these machineries and the value of the naira, currency has been devalued. So people will suffer, prices will rise, there will be high rate of inflation. And
but for how long? Can you project that?
About what? I don't understand.
About the effect of this devaluation. For how long can Nigerians be feeling the ill effect of it?
It will continue to affect Nigerians until we decide to start looking inwards and start producing most of these things that we export. If we start producing them, of course, there will be this balance of payment, because it will reduce, this balance of payment deficit. There will be no longer issue of every time paying other countries to develop themselves while all you do is to consume. It's really not good for any nation, really. The timing, like I said, is wrong, and it is the reason why Nigerians are suffering now, and they will continue to suffer for as long as any deliberate attempt is not made to start producing those things domestically.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. And we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Who do you have on the line? All right, Doctor, make your comments briefly.
Yes, I think I have to appreciate Dr. Gantala yourself for bringing this money issue to the front border of public discourse.
Thank you.
Prestige has been known to be doing what is right over time. At least one of the very active media houses we have in Nigeria, not only in northern Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
But the situation are not the same. The devaluation started as far back as military era, championed by former presidents, Babangida, what was the military president of this country. And the impact was also felt, or it accumulated to the state we find ourselves today. But like the last speaker said, we are almost known to be a dependent nation on export goods without actually encouraging, local production of ours. It is in that same trend that the IMF policy that we bought into take us to the situation we find ourselves today. Because if you listen to what President Ahmed Bola Tinubu said at 74th United Nations presentation, he said we have independence, but yet economic independence is not there for most of the African nations. So he is appealing to the superpowers to allow us have that economic independence just the way we have our freedom, independence as well. So we must begin to appreciate the fact that tough decisions will be taken, and then sanctions for offenders should be seen as commensurate to those who commit the crime. If that is not done, we can't get out of the mess we find ourselves. You are talking of generating local productions in a country where the electric megawatt production is less than 5%. In a country where government policy is policy somersault almost all the time. In a country where northern Nigeria is parading almost 80% class of illiterates. In a country where child labor is the hallmark of our society today. How can we get it right? And then the bourgeois are not being challenged. What is the effect of bringing the change in this country? Why can they not be wiped out? They were allowed to exist because of the super systemic corruptions that were carried out by the leadership in corridor of authority. I want to raise my case for now.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Jabi. Hello, good morning. Okay, 0903880888 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning,
Morning, sir. Who do I have on the line?
Good morning, Professor Dantala. Good morning. I still remember Prince Alaga had the photo.
All right, briefly.
You see what is happening in this country today. So when we be able to point the truth to ourselves, point the hand to ourselves, and tell us for the truth that we are this country to be out of this mess. Why am I saying that? I'm a person in the I'm a politician today. I contest governor. Therefore that I win the governor. And when I come to select my cabinet, those are people who sponsor, who try to their own effort to see that I match for that place. And they are not even educationalists. Completely. Then tomorrow when I start choosing my commissioner, then I'll take the same person to go and be commissioner of education. What do you go to offer to the state? If we have spent 1 million for me to spot me, why you give me a contract for a very own side? Give me a contract of 2 million. I think that's when you start doing that, that's where you get it right. If I will stay there how many years now, I will try to say that the people who connect to come back and feed the country today for 21st century, who must fight out of this man corruption.
All right.
Criminal. When somebody is giving billions of naira, the next month the city government will give you an award that they have this way. Then somebody gives 1 million naira.
So we need to fight corruption holistically.
We must tell ourselves too, because we have to, I and you. By the time we find out, that's how they rule our father, they have children rule ourselves, then they have children rule our children.
All right.
And what else? Because almost all the leaders, their hand is sucking in oil, red oil, which they're not ready to wash.
All right.
We must try to tell the nation that this country is only where we find ourselves out of this mess, to when we leave all this corruption and come to the right table and do the right thing.
All right, thank you very much. Umar Ezadawanti1, he's saying the incompetent CBN governor is just okay. The elites are fast drilling from leading this nation on the right track. CASA, the scourge of hunger, spreading inflation, insecurity, and a sense that the country is in distress stare us all. Cumulative effect of this is anger in the land. Thank you, Umar S. Adam. NTA1, and we have Sulaiman Muhammad. My question is, will Nigeria ever be better again? 1001 question. All right, thank you. Alima Azu Ibrahim, okay, thank you, we appreciate you also. Rabiu Galadima is saying, okay, thank you, well done, may God help Nigeria and Nigerians. He is watching us live from Jabi Airport Junction. Thank you very much, Rabiu Abdullahi. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Lampelas, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Thank you very much. How I wish our leaders listen to your presentation. I think they can work with you perfectly with their own work. But very, very unfortunate. When you look at it, we are also contributed. We need to be listening to ourselves. Ajamemuna, use the example of yourself. What kind of chipset are you using? Do you use the local one or the foreign one? No, we need to tell ourselves the truth. If really we want this to progress, if really we want our country to move forward, we need to patronize the locally made, but unfortunately, once anything is made within Nigeria,
it's local.
I can tell you that so many local made are far better than the foreign ones. Imagine from the key, people bring foreign disease. I am telling you, fully is far, far better. Look at the local made car in your country. People are not patronizing it. What do you expect this embassy to do at the end of the day? Lots of things is happening. You will discover the customs, they are not after putting a restriction of the kind of product they bring into Nigeria. But just to be honest, they are wanting just to make sure that they pay tax. You don't care that the product is good or not good. Or maybe it's a restriction. Maybe what they're after is just to see that yes, they are making taxes on it. Very, very unfortunate. We need to do the right thing. An unfortunate part of it, Dr. Like you know, CBN is the one that is saddled with this same responsibility. What have they been doing? Sincerely speaking, CBN are the one putting us into spend. Because professionally, they are supposed to be the ones to make sure that, yes, the value of Naira is bigger than that of the dollar currency. But you cover that what the CBN is doing, what are they doing? It's not better for them to resign from appointment. So that whoever they think can do it better to come around and be Please, Dr. Densela, when you look at it, we can't get it right until when with two families. This superpower country that we are no longer slaves there because indirectly we are dollar slavery. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that comment.
Yes, you know, quite a number of people are also not aware of the fact that a country that is driven by just one commodity, such country's currency cannot do well against the dollar. And that is why successive governments have tried to find other means of getting exchange. When President Muhammadu Buhari decided to invest in agriculture, the idea was to improve the value of agricultural produce in Nigeria such that they can be exported and compete favorably with other ones in other parts of the world. And by so doing, Nigeria will be able to earn foreign exchange through agriculture. Then the other ones are through other entrepreneurial activities. But of course, you know, insecurity came and dealt a deadly blow on agricultural activities in Nigeria. And you can see up to this moment, insecurity is still there. Agriculture has not picked up the way it should. The potentialities are there, but insecurity is thwarting every effort to revamp the sector. So until when we begin to have other means of getting foreign exchange, that is the only time the Naira will be able to do very well against the dollar. But as it is now, with one commodity, which is petrol, there's no way we will be able to have a currency that will do very well against the dollar. In more advanced nations, they have several things that they export, and that has always enabled them to gain the foreign exchange. In some other countries, apart from agriculture, petrol, tourism is equally there. When you go to smaller islands nations in Africa, like the Cape Verde, the Equatorial Guineans, all of these are smaller countries, but they are oil-producing nations, and they don't depend wholly on oil alone. They also have other means such as tourism and so on and so forth. So Nigeria need to develop some other sectors. We also have the issue of solid mineral. Even though insecurity have also come in, a lot of people are already connecting solid mineral exploration with insecurity. So, I mean, corruption, insecurity have to be dealt with decisively and brought to their knees before we'll be able to see the kind of changes that we expect.
All right, some comments on our Facebook page. This one coming from Comrade Muhammad Awal Umar. He is saying the issue of devaluation of Naira, if our leaders continue this way, nothing will change. In fact, Naira will be devaluating because it's the policy of the so-called world-leading countries. Unless our leaders shine their eyes and reduce money mongering, if not, same will continue. Wherever the Naira is devaluated, then the economy will never balance. Thank you, Comrade Muhammad Awal Umar. Isa M. Asali, what makes the devaluation of Naira is that rich people are no longer using Naira. They deal with dollars. Only average Nigerians are using Naira. Okay, Idris Abara is saying very good discussion. Okay, that has summed up everything. In Nigeria today, patriotism has weighed and selfishness takes center stage. Loyalty to individuals, political, ethnic or religious group, social class or professional interests are constantly placed above national interest. All right, thank you, Idris Abara, for that comment. Comrade Ahmed Ibrahim Agwara, he's saying our Naira is no longer appreciating, rather depreciated, because our leaders are not making use of it in their economy and commercialization activities. More so, they prefer using dollars, which it will brought nothing but affect us economically. Thank you, Comrade Ahmed Ibrahim Agwara. Nura Sanda, as devaluation increases the cost of imports, it can create challenges for businesses that rely on imported raw materials and intermediate goods. I hope leaders will meet up and do the needful. We do hope so. Jafar Ibrahim Bendiga, I have said several times, and I will still say it again, the political elites of this country are the ones running our country. I have never been more about speaking out my mind. Our leaders are not focusing about the economy of this country anymore. They are only after their pockets and interests. All right, what will be the poor man's vision and mission? High cost of living or how to survive? Everyday Naira grows. Everyday Naira is falling and nothing yet to be done. There is nothing short of revolution. Thank you. I like here. I mean, thank you, Bindiga. Sani Baban Sani. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Let's see if we can take one or two calls, then we'll wrap up the program. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Who do you have on the line?
Yeah, this John Puta.
All right, make your comments, sir.
Yeah. I want to thank Dr. Angela for his in-depth analysis of Nigerian economy.
Okay.
And I also want to encourage our experts not to be deterred by, by some government and negligence of the concerned authorities. We continue to offer advice to the state of Nigeria. I'm very happy for that analysis, and there's no solution more than what you have said. So I pray that our leaders should continue and should start to provide the solution to such issues that Dr. Angela has raised this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Abdullah Tanko Busoro, Nigeria can be better again, but not with the present crop of leaders. There is no willingness from the part of government to better Nigeria. All transactions in Nigeria should be done in Naira, no matter the business. Thank you, Abdullah Tanko Busoro. Yeah, Adamu Jaba. Okay, one day we'll get it right. Okay, Nigeria is, we should keep on praying, going spiritual there. Thank you, Yahya Adamu Jaba, for that comment. Doctor, you have had various comments also.
Yes, of course. And the best way to go is for the government to encourage local production, to honestly also fight corruption, and then to ensure that competent people are put in the right positions, rather than loyalty to either party affiliation or probably for someone who has served as a foot soldier during campaign activities. So if we have competent people in positions, they will be able to do better, and I'm sure the country will be able to come out of its current situations. We have so many other nations that have gone through worse situations and you are able to come out of it. So I believe Nigeria cannot afford to be different, and we shall come out of it one day.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad Ansala Ali, for being part of the program Nigeria Today. You can join us tomorrow for a fresh package of the program. On behalf of the DC on duty, Ibrahim Gimba, and of course Stephen Jia, my name is Maimuna Muhammad Babangida, saying good morning.